Hello. Sorry if I seem a little out of it. It's been a long day, but I have started reading a new book, and this book seems like I will get through it faster than my previous read. This book is Brewed with Love by Shelly Page. It is a YA contemporary fantasy with like a big romance subplot in it. It's queer. The author and the main character are both people of color. So taking lots of boxes. I am excited to read it. I think I'm like 15 or 16% of the way in so far. I'm really liking it. I like the world building that we've gotten so far, and the idea of like all witchcraft is plant-based. Everyone's magic works in slightly different ways depending on stuff like their family and stuff, I guess. I'm not super clear on what determines who gets what kind of magic, but like the main character is a brew witch, but then there's also her best friend. I can't remember the term they used for it, but like basically like a type of clairvoyant where she can read object memory, so she can touch an object and like see where it has been. Stuff like that. I'm assuming, incidentally, that ability will come up in the plot. The plot is that the main character, what's her name? Sage, is trying to get over being ghosted by her best friend turned sort of girlfriend 4 years ago. That person just like left. And like no word of what was going on, no conversation about the relationship, nothing, just left, completely ghosted her. And so she was obviously very heartbroken, both in terms like on the level of like her best friend just up and left her, but also this person that she had like been developing, a crush on and that sort of thing just vanished. But now this person's back in town and they have to work together for the summer, womp womp. So they're working at Sage's family's apothecary. They brew tonics and charms and medicines and stuff. And so they have to work together for the summer. But in the meantime, like Sage has been trying to get this a new tonic of her own creation ready, she's calling it the Heartbreak Tonic, but it's basically supposed to like remove any like emotional distress attached to a specific person or event. I think I'm fuzzy on the specifics of it. It's supposed to like ease emotional pain. She's been trying to get it to work, but like she just keeps misbrewing it and it keeps not working. And so she's like doubly upset because she was hoping she would have this tonic ready by the time she started working with, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, Jimena, I think is how the name's pronounced. It's still not brewing properly, so she can't use this tonic to like ease the pain of being around Jimena again. And she's just like, going through it. They have their first day of work together, and Sage is like really struggling with being around Jimena and getting like upset and stuff. And she tries to do another variation on the brew she's been tries to do a slight different order with the steps of brewing it. It still doesn't work. She kind of like half storms out and is just like, I'm going to take my break early. I need to go get some calming tea from the tea shop. But then while she's gone, Jimena ends up calling her and being like, you need to come back to the shop, there's been a break-in. And when she comes back, there's like a handful of tonics missing from the back room and also her misbrewed potion that it was dumped out of the pot and taken. And so she's like, okay, weird, like why? None of the money was taken, like just a couple of tonics and this misbrewed potion were taken. And so like they're trying to figure out, like she reports it to the police, reports it to her she lives with her nana, like her grandmother and her nana's partner. So she like reports it to her nana and all that stuff. And notably lies to Jimena and tells Jimena that she is fired because the store was robbed on her watch, because she doesn't want to be around Jimena anymore and is trying to make an excuse for her to not come to the store anymore. And then they end up having a coven meeting with all the like witches in town. And during the coven meeting, the police show up with like this family. I'm trying to remember, they're important in the town. I can't remember who it is specifically. Maybe the mayor and his family. And their daughter has memory loss. She can't remember anything. And that is a symptom, like that's a side effect of a misbrewed tonic. And so they're like, obviously it had to be your shop. You guys are the ones who brew tonics in town. Somehow a misbrewed tonic got to this girl. she has no memory, so we can't ask her about what happened, but all signs point to your shop, and if we can't resolve this, then your shop is probably going to have to close down. And so now the issue is Sage is going, oh, fuck, that was my tonic. And they have to try and find a counter brew to fix the memory loss, but they only have a week to do it before it becomes permanent. And they have to figure out how to count, like, what went wrong in the tonic in order to fix it in the counter brew. But it's an incomplete tonic. There's never been a successful brew of it. So it's like, what do we do? Anyway, that's basically what I'm up to right now. I've just kind of read like what seems to be the like catalyst for the plot so far. And so I'm very interested to see what all is going to shake out. I am, as I said, I'm enjoying the magic in the world so far. There's a lot of casual queer rep in this book. It seems like a majority of the characters are people of color. And I'm just hoping this is like a fun little read. And yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about because my throat hurts. So I'll check in later. Okay, I'm at the 49% mark, which I figure is as good a place as any to update. And I want to update now rather than reading a little further, possibly getting to the actual 50% mark and updating, because I have a suspicion that I want to voice before I get any confirmation. I wouldn't consider this a spoiler because this is just me looking at like stuff that's going on with characters and stuff that's established about the setting and making some guesses. So I wouldn't consider this spoilers. I probably won't say if it's confirmed or not, because I think I do want to make this a relatively spoiler-free vlog. But so this setting, the town of Blackclaw, it's called that because there are were werewolves in the area. So there's werewolves in the area, or there were historically, and then Jimena, 4 years before the start of the story, left town super abruptly and is being incredibly vague about why she did. She also has like a moon tattoo. There's a like one-off mention of a like, they call it a permanent bracelet. It's a bracelet that's like, it is, the metal is like fused or welded together, like on the person. It's not welded to the skin, but like it's put on so tight that it can't really be removed, not without like cutting the band. And I think it's mentioned as gold, so it's not silver, but it is mentioned there's like herbs in it, like there's like glass or gems or something with herbs inside them. So I'm curious about what that's for. And there's also a bit where like Jimena like keeps noticing smells, and so I'm wondering. Oh, and she also like, there's one part where she carries a bunch of boxes, like emphasizes it's like a stack of 3 boxes that are really heavy, and she just picks them up like nothing. So I'm wondering if Jimena is like a werewolf possibly, because that would explain some things. And I also just, I don't know, I think that'd be neat if this was a witch werewolf romance. I can't remember if that was part of how this book was advertised, possibly. I don't remember. All I remembered about this book was that it was queer and witchy. I didn't remember any other specifics about it. If it is also werewolfy, that would be really cool. Otherwise I'm enjoying the book pretty well so far. It is very queer, I will say that. Very, very queer. I'm enjoying the mystery and like trying to figure out what exactly happened and what exactly is going on. I don't know if this is a mystery that one could solve on their own, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe somebody else could, but I feel like I don't have a firm enough grasp on like the surrounding characters outside of the 2 main characters, Sage and Jimena. I don't feel like I have a super strong grasp on other characters, but I am enjoying it. I will say sometimes the dialogue is a little like, I don't know what it is, but there's just something a little off with the dialogue sometimes. And sometimes things feel a little like abrupt. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. If it like continues on as it is right now, I think this could be a 4-star. And yeah, that's about where I'm at. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna stop talking because I've talked long enough, and I don't want to wake my kid. I finished reading a book today. Yay! I finished reading Brewed with Love. Obviously, this is the video where I talk about Brewed with Love. Genius. I finished reading it this morning, and I said earlier it might be a 4-star. It is not a 4-star, it's a 3-star. Can I articulate why? I think a big part of it is twofold. One, there's just something off in the prose. I have a hard time articulating specifically what it is, but there's something that just doesn't quite work for me, especially in the dialogue. I think sometimes it was a bit too abrupt. I think sometimes it was a bit too on the nose, and it just didn't quite work for me. The other thing is that I felt like a lot of information about characters was established, but I didn't really feel like there was a connection to characters necessarily. So like even like we had lots of facts about characters like Poppy and Morris and Jason and Olivia and all these other characters, but like I couldn't tell you, like I have no vibe for the characters. I guess that's the thing. I have facts but no like vibe or dynamic or connection, and that makes it a little harder to feel like invested in figuring out like who was involved. There's also, this is specific to like the ending, so I'm gonna get lightly into spoilers here. I'm gonna try not to say any names, but there's just some little details about stuff. In the climax, there's stuff going on. A character starts a live stream to like capture and like have evidence of what's going on, and someone finds them from that live stream. Here's the thing. Well, they don't find them from the live stream. Sorry, no, they don't find them from the live stream. They find them by using an app, the Find My Friends app. Here's the thing. The live stream is in the town hall. It's from the welcome desk of the town hall. So what do you mean? This is a small town. What do you mean that they couldn't figure out what building the person was in from a live stream taken from the front desk of town hall? Why did they need the Find My Friends app? Why couldn't they just look at the live stream and go, "Oh, that place. What do you mean?" Another thing that was like, I just have a hard time following is a tonic that is used to ease emotional pain is then regarded as the foundation for curing a serious degenerative health condition. That tonic itself doesn't cure that health condition, but like it is treated as like, oh well, because we have this, that means we can extrapolate from this to heal this other thing. And I'm like, fucking can you? Like most tonics, like there's lots of tonics that are for healing. What is it about this tonic that would make it extrapolate to this level of healing? That seems far-fetched to me. I have a hard time buying that. And then there's also a bit with like, this I would say is an inconsistency, less a logistic error, more an inconsistency. The person who took the brew, this is one of the more spoilery things I'm going to say. The person who took the misbrewed tonic put it in a not a tonic bottle. And the person who drank the misbrewed tonic and got the memory loss drank from this non-tonic bottle, assuming it wasn't a tonic. That's how it's told to us. So like it's an accident. There was no intention to give this person the tonic. But then later, when that person gets their memory back, she's saying that she saw the bag of tonics and deliberately grabbed the misbrewed tonic and drank it. And I'm like, hold up. But it wasn't with the other tonics, I thought. It was or it didn't look like a tonic. So like maybe it was articulated poorly in the story and I'm misunderstanding it, but like that sounds like two different answers, and like that's not addressed anywhere as like, oh, they're telling different stories. That's like, anyway, it doesn't super make sense to me. Yeah, there were just little things like that, and like some of the solutions for things felt a bit like, oh, okay. Like some things were good callbacks. Like I liked that there was a misbrewed tonic from very early in the book that had a particular reaction that was then used in the climax, and I did appreciate that. I thought that was fun. But then there's also stuff like there was this whole thing where like part of the plot is about like magic being overused and it's affecting the forest, and like parts of the forest are dying, and the forest is their source of magic. So there's a thing of like, oh, the reason all this stuff is going wrong is because magic is getting spotty because it's being overused. So we need to like fix the magic before we can fix the problems caused by the magic. So they end up pouring their magic back into the sick part of the woods, but I'm like, but don't you have to draw the magic from the woods to put it back? How does that fix, like they didn't craft something with their magic and give it to the trees. They just went to the trees and put their magic into them. And I'm like super confused with how that worked. So that just feels like it's both a question of, if the solution is this simple, why wasn't this done immediately? And also, how does this work? So there were issues like that where just like I'd say the first half of the book was really solid. I updated at the 50% mark and I was really enjoying it. But then like as I got further into the book, stuff just started kind of not quite working or getting kind of convoluted or not making as much sense or being too obvious. And so it just ultimately wasn't quite, it didn't quite land. And so I'm giving it a 3. I did still like it. It's a cute little book. I would consider picking up stuff by this author in the future. And like if you just want a simple, cozy YA sapphic romance with like a decent mystery plot, sure, go for it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this book. That's all I really have to say. If you have watched this far and you've liked the video, please like, and if you want to, please subscribe. I would appreciate that. For emoji, let's do is if there's like a cauldron or like potion emoji or something along those lines. I think that'd be cute. And that's where I'm at, I think. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Bye.